Hello and welcome to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today I'm here with 3 members from the 2024 ECCF Changemakers, all from Lynn. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the invitation.
Of course. Now, for anyone who maybe doesn't know that much about the program, would you be able to provide a little bit of background on it? Like the program itself?
Sure, I can take a stab at it. So the Changemakers group is a group of individuals on the North Shore who do different community and arts things. It's basically bringing everyone together so that we have access to everyone else's brain power. You'd be amazed at a problem that you have or I would have, and there'd be someone in the room with an answer. So there's a group of about 20 of us from different towns, and we meet once a month for, I think it's 8 months. And we have access to a lot of expertise, but also it's also an opportunity to share frustrations that you have, and you'll find that you're not the only one, that a lot of people have experienced something very similar, but then they also share how they got out of it. So it's a great learning experience.
A great opportunity to kind of share and swap resources with other
Correct.
people or situations. And could you all go through and say a little bit about how you got involved and what organization you're a part of that is kind of connected to it?
Sure. Anyone want to start?
I can take a stab at this part as well. I think I'm getting a little bit different take on it than you are. A little bit. One of the things that I'm getting out of it, I'm sure you are too, is that we're writing a kind of a statement of purpose, a personal statement that kind of sums up what it is we're doing personally and professionally, and looking at all of the things that it is we do on a personal level, on a community level, on a cultural level, and then even on a world level. And I think Daniel, what's her name? Her last name is Codes Connor, is one of the lead organizers, along with Karen Ristubin. And between the two of them, they have really given us some resources to lead us into some of that self-reflection piece and explore those sorts of issues with a group of like minds and people who are really leading these organizations around Essex County. And this is the 4th year of Changemakers. I've personally been following the development of Changemakers since the initiation, and I was like, this is my year. This is my year to be a changemaker. And so I'm really excited to be a changemaker this year.
And Christian, I'll start with you. You're a few months into it now, and I'll go down the line. How has the experience been so far? What stood out to you?
I think it's been good so far. I think it's a good combination of, as Annette and Sunil just explained, it's a combination of resource sharing, leadership development program. It is also important, I think, to note that, there is a stipend that comes with it, development of purpose. That stipend is going to be $1,000 at the completion of the program. Okay. And it's something they want us to utilize towards advancing whatever organization we're leading, which I know you had said earlier. So I'm personally in the Changemakers program, both as a representative of United Lynn Pride, the nonprofit here in the city, as well as the chair of the Cultural Council. And I think overall it's been a great experience. I think we've had maybe 2 or 3 meetings so far. The program's going to go through until about October. And yeah, it's been great to meet a bunch of individuals, not just from Lynn, as it's being facilitated by Essex County. Lynn, I grew up in Lynn. I've known a lot about the city itself. I like getting that larger vantage point of what's going on around the county. People from Lawrence, Methuen, Marblehead, etc.
Great. Same question.
Describing how I came to CCI. So I'm part of the Summer Arts Festival here in Lynn. I help organize that. My link to ECCF was they were one of the sponsors for year 1. Okay. The Creative Collective got me in touch. And without that backing, year one would have been a neighborhood, something or the other. Our budget was $1,100, and they boosted it up, so it became a citywide event. So we have only met a few times, but going on back to what Annette said, these last few meetings, what I've done is a lot of self-reflection, what's important to me. It's amazing how when ideas get bounced back to you, it makes you look at it differently or from a different angle. And what I look at is, sustainability. Some of the things are great, but it might have cost too much in terms of manpower. And it was very obviously pointed out to me, the last one-on-one I had, which I wasn't even aware of, was that I was taking on too much, but it was my lack of belief that someone else could do it. And in a way, I was taking something away from someone, an opportunity away from other people. And in my mind, I was like, well, if I don't do it, it won't get done. That's not true. And it was, when it was pointed out to me, I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. So it's a lot of that. And my project has to do with trying to see a feasibility study on what it would take to get the city of Lynn's municipality to net zero. So what would it cost to have it come from renewables? What's the return on investment? At what point do we reach equality where what the money is invested gets paid back, and then after that? And I know it may not be an arts and culture thing, but it is important. And also, I am going to tie into it that any savings, that 10% of it goes to the arts community in Lynn. So it's something really exciting. I've done a rough study, and I think it is feasible, but I will require buy-in from the council and such. So.
And then, how's it affected you?
Yeah, I'm going to run with that. I find it really interesting that you're finding the same sort of, if you step back, it creates what I'm calling a vacuum, where other people will naturally kind of fill in that void, and like giving the opportunity to others to do, some of the work. And it is such a joy to do the work. And I'm relating to that at, Gala, the galleries at LynnArts. It's a project that has been my pride and joy. I mean, founding it in between 2018, 2019, and keeping it going and making sure that everything gets done from, hanging stuff on the walls to social media to, having a hand in everything, to making sure the floors get washed. And I've gotten to a point, especially with this Changemakers program, like where I'm asking myself the questions of, where does my creative practice sit? And so I'm going a little bit more towards my own painting studio practice. And I'm finding that there is this contingent of artists who are coming in to do all of the work that needs to be done. And it's creating a better gallery, a better experience. And those artists who are coming in are getting more out of it than if I would tightly control everything. It's exciting.
It does. It sounds like a really exciting experience. You're really getting all of this self-reflection. And I know you're only a few meetings in, but when you think about it, looking towards the future, what do you really hope to learn and take out of this experience, ultimately?
Anyone? Well, can I jump in? I know I'm speaking more than my share, but I apologize. So what I'm hoping for is collaboration. Once this program is over, that you will develop these relationships, friendships with a lot of the participants and the people running the show. So a good example is at the Arts Festival, we have never had any spoken word or acting. And there's a gentleman from Newburyport who I connected with, and he has like a 5-person troupe, but they're looking at coming and maybe for an hour or half an hour, act something out. Maybe it's funny, but it'll be something different. And that would be an awesome addition to a festival.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I hope that it's a lot of sharing of knowledge. You know, when I was first interviewed for the Changemakers program, I felt a little bit reticent because I was like, you know, oh, well, I'm already participating in all of these groups. I don't want to take a spot from if there were potentially any applicants who might have been younger, newer, who might benefit more from the program. But in that process, they told me like, you know, oh, well, we need people from, you know, at all different levels in like their leadership or in their creative journeys. So as much as I'm hoping, similar to Sunil, to take away like, you know, connections and share ideas, I'm hoping that with all the different experiences and roles that I have, that I can also give back to all of those other people participating in the program. And similar to like a statement I made earlier, you know, it's good for me to get my head a little bit outside of Lynn, learn more about what's happening in the entire county. You know, even though it's not Western Mass, I feel like anything that's like to the left of Lynn, I'm like, that's Western Mass. I don't know what.
I have a friend who says anything west of 128 is Iowa.
Great. And did you want to answer too, Annette?
I guess the thing that has startled me is that it has been such a, I'm going to use the word liminal, meaning that it's such a space that I didn't expect, that the Changemakers has opened things up, and any expectations that I had were completely blown out of the water. And so once that sort of thing happens in a group experience like this, I kind of have to go with whatever is happening and see what happens, you know? And I know for a fact right now, this far into it, I need to paint more. I need to be either in my studio or out in the wild with my portable easel, painting and creating, and those sorts of things nurture and feed my soul, my inner being. And I know that I need to do those things before doing what I had been doing, which is helping other people feed their creative practices. And then we'll see. I mean, this is 3 months in. What's going to happen by November? I mean, we'll see. I'm excited, and I'm willing to just go with it and see where the process takes me and us.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see where this goes. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment. It always feels so fast when we're talking about all these things. But thank you for really sharing these reflections and your experience. And I'm wicked excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.